Welcome everyone. Today we'll have an amazing Paladin guide over 2000 corruption. And in this video, we'll be learning from Iva and Makova over here. And let's briefly have a look at the demonstration of the replays of the Paladin build. As you can see over here, this is over 2000 corruption, and this build is incredibly powerful. So looking over here, our friend is currently sitting on 1500 HP, but if you briefly look at his warding, it is quickly going over to 20, 30, 40, 50,000 warding. Yes, this is an incredibly tank Paladin build that deals tons of damage. You'll be seeing golden lightning strikes on top of the monster's head, and you'll be pretty much unkillable for the entire duration of the fight. And yes, sometimes you are seeing the decay of the warding, and that's because he has refreshed his warding with a new set of warding. It's not that he lost his warding suddenly. And this build is very powerful in its own right, because the ability to generate more warding as he face tank everything in the map, and also against the boss, he can pretty much clear every content with 2000 corruption, with his durability, and also with his tons of armor and also block chance, which we're gonna have a look as a summary of this powerful build. Now in terms of the mobility, this build does have a traversal mobility spell, but you can see it can be a little slower compared to other builds. But if you're facing 2000 corruption guys, your goal is to not clear fast, but rather your goal is to survive and also clear consistently and also face tank everything on the map, which is actually really amazing. Now to provide you guys with some more demonstration of the build, let's jump over to one of the story bosses. And notice our friend here, he's pretty much standing his ground and face tanking this boss no matter what spells and what casting the boss has. So yes, with a Paladin build guys, you can ignore the boss mechanics, and this is pretty amazing, right? Now of course guys, the damage numbers are not going to be off the roof. You will be dealing consistent damage, and the best part about it is you don't have to dodge anything. Notice that the boss mechanics, which makes me dance around in the map, our friend here is face tanking it while gaining more warding. So this build is extremely durable. It might be a little slow in terms of map clearing or boss killing, but it is incredibly good if you're pushing for higher corruptions or try to survive for the arenas, because this build is unkillable. Yes, really having a good time learning this build. And over here, as you can see, I have provided some detailed notes as to the highlight of each of the spells and also passives, and also how they interact. So we'll be going through this in this video, and very excited to share this new build with a Paladin for you guys as a solo Paladin. We have had a Paladin that pushes over 3000 corruption as a co-op Paladin. So now you guys can play the solo Paladin and also co-op Paladin together if you plan to push for higher corruption. Now before we dive into my notes and also the builder's guide, I would like to say a big thank you and also shout out for Iva Makova over here for sharing his build and also the build planners, which will be available to you guys. Now if you want to learn some really high level Paladin action, even over 2100 Paladin action with a new adjustment of the Paladins, make sure you come over and also follow Iva over here and also be learning the Paladin with him on his YouTube channel. Now during this time, I also want to spend some brief time to talk about something very important guys, and this is very personal as well. So due to the recent discussion with the Marksman build, I have noticed that some of my viewers have been telling me, Rax has made a Marksman build, and I was aware of this, and I actually spoke to Rax about this. Now, I really don't like the concept of people saying Rax stole the build, and I want to apologize to Rax what has happened. So some of the viewers have been writing in the comments and also even reporting Rax for having a Marksman build. Now this is not really what I encourage, and I will never encourage anybody to do such a thing. I have personally written comments on Rax's video saying it's a great build and I'd love to learn from Rax. And I have been learning from Rax with Diablo 4, Diablo 3, even Wilson, I have been learning a lot from him. Now personally myself guys, I'm not the creator of the Marksman build. I am learning from my Chinese friend, who also said he's not the creator of the build. This build has been going around in the Chinese and also in their community for a while. He simply perfected the build and also pushed for higher corruption during that time. And the concept of someone stolen the build is really bad, so please let me explain. So personally, I like to share a number of builds with our communities, and most of the time my friends and also viewers will share me some really nice build that doesn't have much detailed guide or explanation to the build. And what I love to do is I like to learn the build and also share detailed notes and also key aspects of the build and help you guys build variety of build that can be great for the end game. Now you will take a lot of time, guys, to push for 1000 to 2000 corruption. And by my estimations, it will take me over 1 week just for one build to push for 2000 corruption. And that's not including farming for the items. So as a content creator, in order to give you guys better builds and also great variety and also different playing style, I'm constantly looking for great build shared to me by our viewers and also our Discord members and also by friends. And in order to give you guys the best summary, I want to give you guys a variety of the build, including the Marksman, including the Runemaster, and now including the Paladin. And I really want to stress out, guys, do not punish content creators for having similar build. And this will only limit their creativity and also their ability to improve existing build. Rax has provided some really nice insight and also even adjustment to the amulet to the Marksman, which even my Chinese friend, if you have a look at over here with my comment, even my Chinese friend who was working on the build also said it is an amazing build using that particular amulet of choice. And yes, it is always nice to have creative build instead of having a less robust and also boring meta. And that was happening to me in Diablo 4 as well, because everything was the same, everyone was getting the same method, and everyone was using the same build. Now I know a lot of you are saying we have to give credits to content creators, and that's what I usually do in my videos as well. I really want to help other content creators and give them more exposure and also more recognition and also support from the community. Now, it is also possible, guys, while content creators are making and also testing the build, they are not aware of other players and other people making similar build, and they are not checking the entire YouTube and also guides for the similar builds. So this was the case with Rax. He was crafting the build and also testing the build with his community, and after speaking to him, he did mention that he was not aware that we were working on similar marksman build. So please do not punish content creators for their hard work and also dedication to last epoch. And in the future, we'll be working on Path of Exile, Path of Exile 2. And for gamers and also content creators, we love to provide a community with detailed build and also helpful guides. And I really don't want this to become something that our last epoch community is really focused on. I want us to focus on great builds and also to have a great time in the new cycles and also, just having a great time with everything that's related to action RPG. So yes, again, guys, do not punish content creators for having similar build, but rather I want to encourage them to look on the existing build and also to have their twists and also show their creativity on the existing build so we can be improving and also changing the methods together. Now coming back to our guide for the Paladin. So some of the highlights I have mentioned over here for the Paladin build is that this Paladin have over 6400 armor with my ideal setup. And here, this is easily achievable with a friend who's just a little short to make a maxi setup. And this Paladin have over 100% block chance, 47% block mitigation, over 50,000 average warding as he attack as you can see in the videos, and over 1,300 healing effectiveness, which scales with his damage and also his defensive capacities. So what you're going to see in the video is, there will be two guides. One is a direct import from Iva over here, who has shared his builder's guide. And the second one is me, min, and max some of the gears, so they are more idealistic. So you can see on some of his gears, they have 4 legendary potential. I have had viewers saying that it's not possible to get 4 legendary potential in most of the gears, so I have adjusted for those. With some other gears, they have 3 legendary potential, while he has 2 legendary potential. So this way you guys know what to look for if you get lucky with 3 LP. And of course, guys, with certain gears, which is really hard to come by with 2 LP, we'll be staying on 1 legendary potential. So you can see and also notice an adjustment to my ideal build compared to his as we learn and also improve on existing builds. So starting with the builder's guide, what I started to do is I want to write you guys a detailed summary of the highlights of the skills. So the 5 skills of choice, starting with Smite, which is going to be a damage spell. And if you guys do want to have a look at notes, those notes will be available to you. But of course, it could be a little easier if I just click onto the spells and show you the locations. As for Smite, this is our biggest damage spell. And this spell will turn 5 damage into lightning damage. Together with the ability to multicast, Smite will be a bigger source of damage as we deal lightning damage towards enemies. In terms of Healing Hand, this spell is incredible in terms of it's gonna be our traversal spell. This spell will also provide us with tons of healing effectiveness and also ways of scaling damage with healing effectiveness. Together with Holy Era, which will provide us with a passive increase of damage, casting speed, attack speed, critical chance, and also additional resistance. This is a really powerful passive that we can activate to gain double the effect. Now our second damage buff spell will be the Sigil of Hope. This spell will provide us with tons of damage increase together with casting speed and also additional healing effectiveness and also endurance. This particular sigil can be auto-casted as we kill enemies, which is really nice. Finally, we'll be using the Javelin and also summoning battle standards. Those battle standards will scale towards our achievement, which also give us higher threshold for endurance. Together with the ability to auto-casting Smite as enemy carry the banner and also increase the frequency of Smite, we can be dealing a lot more damage with a major source of damage, which is coming from the lightning attack. Now for those of you that prefer the written version, I do have the notes available for you guys. Make sure you check the links below for those highlights. Now in terms of the passives, we're going with a multitude of increased damage, increased block chance, increased damage while holding the shield, increased spell damage, and finally increasing lightning damage. So this is a well-rounded paladin that deals great damage, have a lot of buffs, very durable, and also very sustainable. So here you can see the stats of highlight. Armor mitigation 70%, block chance over 100% with 47% mitigation. And if you come over to others, you can see over 1300 healing effectiveness. And together with tons of cold resistance that increases our ward retention, you can be having so much warding and also becoming so much more durable using this setup. Now briefly going through the items of choice. Our friend Iva here has decided to use the Mad Alchemist wand. This will provide him with tons of casting speed and also scales towards intelligence. Now our build does not have the highest intelligence, so the scaling won't be the major factor, but he can also cast multitude of debuffs onto enemies, and this will also provide him with additional spell damage due to the number of debuffs, which is going to be a great amplifier up to, I believe, how much is that? 48% increased damage. Now as for the helmet and also for the boots, he's using the Fruit of the Mountain and also the Peak of the Mountain. Oh boy, the price of those items will be going up. Here he's going with increased level to healing hand, some strength for additional armor and also cold resistance. By stacking cold resistance, he will be gaining additional ward retention with uncapped cold resistance coming from those gloves, which will be incredibly powerful because he has so much warding gain using his abilities. Now in terms of the shield, he's gaining additional block chance. It is a little harder to get a legendary 2 potential on the shield guys, and if you can get increased block chance, you can easily go over 100% block chance over here. So even a tier 6 block chance can be really good. As for the amulet, it is one of the best installed amulets. Getting yourself with some healing effectiveness and also chance to shred armor on hit will really help you in the late stage of the game. This amulet is perfect for the Paladin for the Smite build. You get everything you wanted, I don't have to say much. You get lightning penetration, lightning damage, healing effectiveness, endurance, everything you wanted. Now finally, as for the unique relic, unfortunately we cannot match intelligence and also achievement easily. So we cannot get triple water orbs. We'll be getting 1 water orbs that will increase our lightning damage. This particular amulet also increases our resistance and also damage towards lightning and also cold, which is really good for the build, stacking with these particular gloves. Now as for the chairs, the belts and also for the rings, those have been taken as exalted items. Together with increased achievement and also additional armor and also stats, this makes our Paladin very durable while increasing armor shedding effectiveness. You can see some of the block chance are being sealed away for additional defensiveness, and if you guys don't get those, that's okay as well. You will just lose out some block chance, but you will still enjoy tons of defensiveness through increased healing and also through increased healing over here. Now our friend has opted for the tier 7 cold resistance together with ward gaming upon potion usage and also removing any of the debuffs. And again guys, if you find yourself to be missing some resistance, you can be finding it on the idols or sealing those resistance so you can get over 75% resistance for everything. Now coming over to the blessings and also idols, we're looking into increasing damage with Smite while increasing block effectiveness, and this is quite important. Over here you can see increasing effectiveness with healing and also block effectiveness. And finally, again, increasing resistance and also healing effectiveness will be really good as you may max your resistance to 75%. Now in terms of the blessing, we're going with increased critical strike chance, increasing critical strike avoidance, increased armor, increased cold resistance, so we have more retention towards warding, and also finally shredding lightning resistance, because a major source of damage will be coming from smite that is converted to lightning damage. So now coming over to some of the skill rotations for this particular Paladin build. Right away guys, you want to have the sigils up to 5 sigils. And after that, you don't have to worry about the sigils because as you kill monsters, you'll be gaining more sigils. You can of course summon your sigils back to 5. You'll be casting your smite towards enemies, which will be providing you tons of warding as well. At the same time, your mobility skill can be used towards your healing. You can be using Healing Hand as a mobility skill. And at the same time, your Javelin will allow you to deal even more damage and also send even more auto smiting. Now the bigger focus of this build is just to stay surviving and also constantly casting your spells as you're gaining tons of warding. And most of the time, you shouldn't have any problems as to regards to surviving. And as you guys get used to the build, you can start to min and max for more damage while keeping yourself alive in the higher corruptions. Now in the final form of the setup, as you meet the boss, you become extremely durable. And as you can see, you're constantly gaining thousands and tens and thousands of warding, to the point you're staying on 50-60,000 warding constantly, and most of the boss cannot one-shot you no matter what, because you have so much armor, so much block, and together with your warding, you become an unkillable tank in the late stage of the game. So before we finish the video, really want to say a big thank you to Iva for sharing this one. And again guys, if you want to follow some top meta Paladin build and also a variety setup for different Paladins, make sure you come over to his channel, follow his videos, and also subscribe to him for more future content. Now if you guys find my videos and also guides helpful, and also want to support my passion in making more guides and also more videos for the last Epoch and also more games to come like Path of Exile, please consider joining me on Patreon, and also here I have created my Ko-Fi page. You can also support me directly through donations, but supporting me continuously with one of those memberships will mean a lot for my future updated videos and to become financially sustainable so I can be continuing making videos for you guys and doing what I love the most, and that is to share and also teach our communities as I dive into different games and making more guides for you guys. And as you guys gonna see in the future, I'll have different ranks and also perk advantages and also special events and also special features for members like account reviews, perfecting the build for you guys, and also co-op time play, and also even special future videos for you guys on your special build for different members.